Hello everyone, in this video tutorial I would like to talk about one of the fundamental part involved in the data analysis, that is data entry. I am not going to talk about the data entry in the traditional way, but I would like to talk about how we can take in the data digitally directly into the Excel sheet by using barcoded labels. So if you ask me what is the need of taking data digitally, what are all the advantages that we have over the traditional method? In traditional method, in order to do the data entry, at least we need two people. One has to take the readings in the observation book and other has to measure them in the field. Same way in the Excel also. One has to dictate the readings and other has to feed it into the computer. After that only we can share the data with others or we can do analysis, which takes a lot of time. But we can do all these things using only one app known as Fieldbook. Along with the Fieldbook, if we use barcoded labels, it will make data entry more feasible and easy. So this is what the main interface of the apps look like. Here the key component is the unique ID, which we basically set with the reference to our entries in such a way that if we have 30 treatments and 3 replication, and from each replication if we take observation of 5 plants, in total we take observation of 450 different plants. So we need to have 450 different unique IDs. So don't worry about the unique ID part now. Later we will discuss about it. So the next important component in the field book are observations what we record or the triads what we need to record, and it will be displayed here. Along with the entries we get other important information like replication or treatment. So here we can navigate in between entries by tapping on black arrow mark. So the first step required is to create a triad file which contain information about triad type. Basically in the app we get these many different kind of triads by default with different inputs representing different triad type. Like to record plant height, we get a number pad. To record plant color, which is a categorical variable, we get 12 different options. For lodging, we get a scroll bar. Like that, there are different kind of inputs for different type of triads. We can add triads directly into the app by selecting these many categories of triads, or we can create a triad file using Excel. In this video, I will create a triad file using Excel sheet, and I will also attach the same Excel file in the description below. So here is an example to show how we need to create a triad sheet. So the first column has to be of the name triad, where we will mention the name of the triad, and in the second column, that is format, we will mention the type of the triad. Here you can see what are the different categories of triads or type of the triads which are available and for what you need to use them. I hope you all know that. If not, you can watch it by pausing the video. Along with that, we need to add the default, minimum and maximum values, and in the details we can add the units of the triads. For example, if we have plant height, we can add the unit as centimeter, millimeter or meter, etc. like that. If the triad format is categorical, we need to add the different categories to select from it. So after each different category we need to add slash. Is visible by default, we need to set it, and in real position column we need to include the sequence with which we need to have our observations to appear in the app. After trial sheet, we need to create entry sheet or trial sheet according to unique ID, which usually created using combination of many variables like trial, season, replication, treatment, etc., which is the most important thing for data entry. Along with unique ID, we can add any amount of extra information which is not a mandatory. So here you can see the entry sheet, and here are the unique ID in combination of crop, season, year, and later here in the video itself I will create one of the entry sheet or trial sheet in order to make it thorough for you. So after recording all the observations, we need to export our data. So in order to do that, this is how the export interface looks like in the app. So this is our final data sheet. So here you can see the unique IDs along with the other information what we kept in the entry sheet or the trial sheet, and the data what we entered will appear here. So basically if I want to summarize, we need to create two sheets. One is triad sheet and another is trial sheet. So the observation what we will keep in the triad sheet will fit on the first row, and the entries what we will keep in the trial sheet will take the first column. Since we have created the triad sheet and the trial sheet separately, and the entries for which we record the observation and the observations what we record, or also known as the triads what we record, will remain independently with each other. So with that, let's get into the real part of the video. and let's see how we need to create the labels and how we can enter the data through Fieldbook app. So let me make it clear to you all. This app is only available for the Android devices in the Play Store, and it is not available for the iPhone. So you can't find this app in the Apple App Store. This is because of the stringent protocols or the procedures what are there in the Apple App Store. In simple words, if I need to tell you, it's very difficult to get permissions to the directories or folders or even hardware like camera in the iOS platform. So from the Android device, open the Play Store, and here in the search for Fieldbook, and you will find the Fieldbook in the first itself. So this app is from a developer known as Phenoapps, and it has got a good number of ratings. So its overall rating is 4.9. So tap on install, and after installation tap on open. So when we tap on define, it will ask permission to have access for internal storage. If we allow, we will get directly into the internal storage. So from here we need to create a separate folder. So here I will create a folder in the name of Fieldbook. So when we get inside this folder, at the bottom you can see use this folder. So tap on use this folder. Later tap on allow. Later we need to migrate the files which are present in the Fieldbook app into this folder. So tap on migrate and select use this folder. Later the app will ask for certain permission. You just allow all the permission what it will ask, and later load the sample data. And if you want to look into the tutorial, you can tap on yes. So this is the home screen of the Fieldbook app. Since we have already loaded the sample data, if we tap on fields, tap on, so in order to collect the data for entries present in the field sample, we will find field sample 2 and field sample 3. Simply I will go with the field sample. When we tap on collect option, we directly go to the main interface. So as I said earlier, if we tap on green arrow, it shifts between triads. If we tap on big black arrows, it will move in between the entries with the unique ID. So here you can see when I tap on black arrow, the unique ID here which refers to the plot ID will change. So let's get into the triad part. As I said earlier in the video, we can create different new triads in the app itself. So in order to do that, select triads. Later click on the plus mark in the top right corner. So from here you can add new triad which will be more laborious. In order to overcome that, we will create the triad file using Excel. In order to create the triad sheet directly from Excel, we need to copy the sample triad file into the computer first. The sample triad file with the secondary name .trt will be saved in the designated folder what we created and selected at first. So open file manager and select Fieldbook folder. So here inside the Fieldbook folder, we will find another folder in the name of triad. From there, we need to select sample file which will be in the trt format. So here triad underscore sample.trt is the targeted file which we need to move into the PC. In case if your mobile has been already connected to the PC, we can move triad sample.trt directly into the PC, or else we can share it through the WhatsApp. So here on the desktop you can see I have moved the triad sample.trt file in a folder known as Fieldbook. For the first step, we need to select a default program to open the trt file. So open it through the notepad. So here you can see how the sample triad file looks inside the notepad. So in order to create this kind of a triad file, what we need to do is we need to create an Excel sheet like this. So here you can see how I have created for my crop cucumber. You can refer it later, which will be there in the description below. So from here, just be with me. I will show you how to create a triad file from the scratch. So create a new Excel file in the desktop and name the first column as triad and the second column as format. Make sure you will maintain proper naming as identical to my naming with the proper case also. And next column is default value. Here the V is capital and the next column is minimum column. The next column is maximum and next column is of details small d, and the next column is for categories. Next is visible, and the last column is of real position. So all these columns are must in order to create a triad sheet or a triad file. So here for the demo purpose, I would like to consider major types of the triads or format of the triads. In numeric type, which is usually used for all quantitative triads, for example plant height, yield, number of fruits, number of pods, etc. I will consider plant height. So in the format column, add type of the triad, which is numeric, and I simply ignore the default value, minimum, maximum values. In details, we can add units like centimeter. Since it is not a categorical variable, we can ignore the categories, and in is visible option, always keep true. Make sure that you type true in all capital letters only. Next, in the real position, mention the order with which we need to get plant height. So next, let us consider some of the categorical variables. Categorical variables are most suitable for recording a qualitative trait. So here I will consider plant type. So plant type, which determines here whether the plant is determinate or indeterminate type. So here in the format, either we can mention it as categorical or multicat. Here I will prefer multicat because multicat is more robust. It will give more option than categorical type. So here I will mention multicat only. Since it is a categorical variable, we can't mention the default minimum and maximum values. And here we need to mention what are the different categories we need to record in the categorical variable. So here in the categories I will mention determinant slash indeterminate. So here we can mention as many categorical variables as possible, but after each and every category we need to mention slash, and other variables such as is visible remains true only, and real position indicates the sequence with which the triad has to appear. So next, let us consider a different kind of triad. So percentage will be used for some of the observation like germination percentage. So I mention germination as the name of triad, and in format I will mention as percent. So other things such as is visible and real position remain as usual. Next, let us consider a triad where we need to record the date or the days. For example, for the event like flowering, just add the format as date and other things remains as same only. So along with the readings in numerical format, we can also record photos. For example, if we want to take a photo of flower, so here in the triad just mention triad as flower. In the format mention it as photo, and other things will remain same only for is visible and real position. And we can also add other type of traits such as counter for the variables whose range is known to be in between a certain values. For example, primary branches. Here for primary branches, select counter as data format, and you can also add default value like 1 because at least one primary branch will be there for a plant. And in order to mention range, mention the minimum value as 1 and maximum value be like 10. So here just for reference I am mentioning 10 as primary branches. Personally, at last, I usually prefer to have a comment section to write down any extra information about the entry. So here I will mention the triad as comments. So later I will mention the type as text. And one last thing which I missed was to mention minimum and maximum values for percentage. So mention it in between 0 and 100. Next thing what we need to do is we need to save this triad sheet in CSV format. So go to save as option in the MS Excel. Later we need to select the designated folder for our CSV file like this, or directly in the Excel like this. Later select the file type as CSV, delimited. Next, what we need to do is we need to open this triad sheet in Notepad, and we need to copy all the text inside the Notepad, and we need to replace this text inside the TRT file, that is triad underscore sample, which is in the format of .trt. Later, I will rename the TRT file into triads. Later, we need to move this TRT file into the triads folder present in the Fieldbook, which will be there in our Android device. Since my phone is connected to my PC, I will directly move the TRT file into the triads folder. For those who open the Excel sheet, that is in the CSV format in the Notepad, there might be some troubles at the first. So you can follow up this video if you are having some troubles. So this is how we connect our phone to our PC. It usually asks for how to use the USB. In that, we need to select file transfer. This option appears when we connect our phone to the PC as a notification. So let me confirm that here you can see the triad sheet has been successfully moved into the triad folder present in the Fieldbook folder. So after ensuring triad sheet, go back to Fieldbook and click on triads. So if we tap on plus mark here, we can add any triad manually. But if we select the options which is indicated by 3 vertical dots, we will find an option to import or export. Later, tap on import and select no when it asks to export the triad list. Later, select local storage where we will find triad underscore sheet.trt. Later, tap on that. After that, we directly get all the triads what we created. Later, we can remove all the triads that we don't want, including the pre-existing ones. So all the triads what we selected here will appear on the observation sheet with our unique ID. So in order to show you, I just select one of the sample data. After that, if we tap on collect, we can see our triads. From here, we can navigate in between triads by clicking on the green arrow, and we can feed the data directly from here. One thing that we need to enter carefully is date. Whenever we open the triad with a date format, by default we get the current date. Later we can move manually by selecting +1 or -1. In order to save the date, we need to tap on the save button here. Later the date turns into red color. So that is when it is saved. Ensure that and move on. In order to click a photo, we need to tap on the camera icon, what you see here. So if we tap on the camera icon, the camera will open. So from here we can capture the image. With that, let's move on to the next important part or the next important step of creating the entry sheet or the trial sheet. First, create a new Excel sheet. The important and the fundamental thing what we need is unique ID. I will simply put it as UID. So in order to get UID, it is better to create that in combination of treatments and replication. Here I select treatment and replication and also plant number in order to generate a combination. So here is the basics. For example, if we are analyzing different genotypes, they are considered as treatments. For example, Arka-Jyoti, etc. etc. In one replication, we usually get observation from 5 plants. So add 1 to 5 as plant number. And replication 1 will remain same and the genotype name also remains same for all these 5 plants. Later, same thing in same way for a different kind of accession. And here I am taking only 3 genotypes for trial purpose. After one replication, copy and paste the same thing. Only thing we need to change is the replication number. So here change it to replication 2. It would be better if we represent replication 1 as R1 and P1 as plant 1, as it makes identifying entries very much easier. In order to create unique ID, you need to combine these 3 columns and you will get unique IDs. Suppose in case of field experiment, if we are doing any fertilizer trial or spacing trial, here we can consider the treatment as T1, T2, T3 itself. Later we can generate unique ID by combining treatment, replication and plant number using the formula shown in the screen. Next, we need to save this sheet in CSV format, that is comma delimited. To do that, go to save as, and if your phone is connected to your PC, then directly go to internal storage and in the Fieldbook folder, select field import folder and select the format CSV comma delimited and click on save. But I would like to save this sheet locally in the desktop itself. So here you can see the trial sheet saved in the Fieldbook folder and I will change its name as trial import. Later, I will manually move this file into the Fieldbook folder, that is field import. After that, if we go to the Fieldbook app, from the home screen, we need to tap on field option. Later, tap on plus mark present in the top right corner. and select local storage. Later we will find our trial import sheet in CSV format. Later select triad import.csv. Next, this small interface appears on the mobile. From here we need to select our unique ID. So here the unique identifier are UID only, and later we need to select primary and secondary identifier, which will appear in between the black arrows. Here I select treatment and plan number as my primary and secondary identifier. Later tap on import. After the successful import, go back and click on collect. So here we get our desired entries. So T1, R1, P1 refers to treatment 1, replication 1 and plan 1, and we can move in between desirable triads on tapping small green arrow mark, and we can feed our data from here. So if we click on this black arrow, it will move into the next entry. Since we randomize our entries, in order to move according to our randomization, we need to take help of barcoded labels. It will make our work very easy. In order to do that, we need to have a barcode scanner. So we can add the scanner through the settings. So from the home screen, select settings. In the setting, select general. In general, select move entry via barcode, and you can also add move to unique identifier, which we won't use much. So after enabling all these options, on toolbar you can see the scan options appear. Here the scan icon is the one present in the middle of the toolbar. So if we tap on that, camera will open. In order to generate barcoded labels, we need to have an unique font known as ID Automation HC39M. So from the Google, in the Chrome, search for ID Automation HC39M. So this is what their official website looks like. So from here, download the font, unzip it and install it. At last, close all the MS Office files, because the new font what we installed has to be loaded into these apps. So in order to generate barcode for the unique IDs, we need to keep the unique IDs in between asterisks. To do that, create a new column known as scan ID, and next in the column fill the asterisks. So if it is not possible in your Excel sheet, just change the column type, that is from general to text, and select unique IDs in between asterisks by using the formula shown here. Later save this file. In order to create labels, we need to have an app known as MS Access, which makes our job done in minutes only. So don't worry if you don't have MS Access. I will show alternate ways of creating the barcoded labels. Here I won't talk in detail about how to design a label, because I have already done a dedicated video for that. You can find it in description below or in my playlist. So open MS Access and click on blank database. From here select table 1. Right click on table 1. So here from the option select import. So next select Excel. Browse the Excel sheet with our scan IDs. After that, link the Excel sheet with our databases by selecting the third option. Click on OK and select the worksheet here. Click next and make the first row as column heading. Click next, name the table and click on finish. If we double click on the labels, we can see all our values imported here. Next go to create and select labels. Bigger the labels, better it would be to scan. So select a label with proper dimension. If you won't find a suitable size, you can customize the size. So in order to know how we can customize the labels, you can check the video what I created earlier. Next select the size and font, and next we will get the rough blueprint of our labels. And here select all those what we need in the sequence of our desire to be there on the labels. So here I just select unique ID, scan ID and plan number. Next it asks on what basis we need to sort our labels. Here I will select on the basis of UID. We can select all other options also, but the major weightage will be given on the first preference. Later click on finish. It shows some of the warnings or some of the errors. Don't worry much about it. Just click OK on whatever it shows. So what you are seeing is the design view. This is required to customize the label. So wherever you are after creating labels, in order to get into the design view, select labels present in the report part. So right click on the labels and then select design view. You will get this interface. So here select scan ID, go to home, just change the font to ID Automation. After that you will get a barcode. After that right click on the labels present in the report and select print preview. Whatever the warnings may be, if you find the number of labels present are equal to the number of unique IDs, then ignore every warning. So here you can see the labels. Go to the labels present in report. Right click here. So select design view. Here I would like to realign the content into the middle. So here you can see in the print view everything has came to the center. So in order to confirm that we got all the labels, select more pages, and so from here reconfirm it. Before taking print, you can confirm that the barcodes what we generated are working without any problems or not. So you can scan the barcode present on the computer screen itself. So from the phone, tap on the barcode scanner option present in the middle. It will open the camera and scan the barcode. Now the entry will jump to the respective unique ID present in the barcode. So that is what we generated using scan ID, which has the unique ID in between asterisks. So when we tag the plant with this label after taking print, we will directly jump into the respective entry. So it will be very useful as we will randomize all the entries in the experiment, and if it works on the screen, it will definitely work on the paper also. Take the print. Here you can see the barcodes on a A4 sheet. When we scan the barcode, we will directly jump into the respective entry number having unique ID. So from here we can take in the data, and other things what we can do is we can reduce the options or modify the number of options which are present on the toolbar. So to do that, go to home screen, select settings, and in the general option remove the option to go to unique identifier. It will remove one of the scanner. So after changes, if we start to collect the data, here you can see there is only one scanner. So if we tap on that, we will directly get the scanner, which will take us to the respective entries. So before exporting the data, let us add some of the data. After that, go back to home screen, tap on field, then reassure that the entry sheet is right or not. Later, come back to home screen, select export. Then select local, select table, and from export interface select all the options what are required for you. Most often we just need the Excel table, and I will select all the columns for all the trades, and you can change the export file name if you want from here. So if there is any old data which is already there entered in this entry sheet, we can overwrite this by tapping on this option. I don't like to overwrite it, so I just ignore. After we click on save, immediately we get an option to share. You just share the data to someone or to yourself through the WhatsApp, which saves a lot of time, and we can also get an option to backup. It is advised you export data each and every time when you enter them or day by day, because if something goes wrong in middle, you won't lose your data. So please keep this thing in mind. It is very important. So if we open the file what we exported, we can find all the information what we stored in the trial sheet or the entry sheet, that which we created and moved into the field import folder along with the observation from our trials. Since I have not entered data for all the points, you can see much of it empty only. Yeah, here you can see the data what I have entered. So at last, the only demerit of using this app is we can't see the empty or missing data in the entry, and we can address this problem by adding one more option. So go to settings, tap on general, so tap here next entry with no data, and opt it for skip entries across active trades. So if we start collecting data, it will give an option to move to next empty entry, as you can see here. Wait, I will show you by entering data itself. So here I enter data for T3R1P5 and T1R2P1. So when I click on next entry from T3R1P4, it will directly take me to T1R2P2 by skipping across T3R1P5 and T1R2P1. So the other problem which you might encounter using this method is you might not have MS Access. So if you don't have MS Access, just open the Word, write down whatever you want along with the UID, that is unique ID. So here I just select UID and I add asterisks across the UID and change the font of the UID with asterisks, that is scan ID, to ID automation. So here you will get the barcodes directly. So at last, if you have any doubts, the comment section is for you, and you can contact me through the Gmail account which is there in the about section. And if you find this video useful, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.